स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Dear students, welcome to our series on ethical case studies. Recently, the 2023 mains examination is over, and then GS paper 4, which is about ethics, integrity and aptitude, also got over. And 6 new case studies in this particular paper is what we will discuss moving forward. So, we already discussed the case studies for the year 2022, 2021. So, now we will move with the case studies for the year 2023. This is Babu Gunashekaran. I have also secured an IAS rank in Civil Service Examination 2016. And subsequent to that, I have started teaching, mentoring the civil servants. So, polity and governance is my specialization, but I also very much interested in ethics paper also, and keenly following the various case studies that has been given in UPSC. So, I also wanted to help the students in solving the ethical case studies. Now, the case study that we are going to see here is a classic case of ethical concerns and dilemmas that you may face in a government organization. When you become a civil servant tomorrow, I am very sure you will be put in different circumstances where you will have to face a lot of ethical concerns and dilemmas. You feel that this is legally right, but you feel that may be ethically wrong. You feel that it is ethically wrong, but it is legally right. And you are confused between two different options in your hand as to what to do. So, this is what this particular case study is all about. So, let me just explain this particular case study today and let me know as to what are the various options that you take under this particular circumstances. So, this case study, you will have to put yourself in this particular position. You are working in a public sector bank, and one of your colleague, and the colleague comes to you and she is telling that her father has been recently diagnosed with some problem, and then immediately he has to undergo a surgery. And she also tells that the doctors have informed that if the surgery is done immediately, there's a chances that he can survive, and then the surgery is a bit costly. It would require 10 lakhs for the surgery to be completed. This is the information that she gives to you, and she also asks for the money, if you can give the money and help in the surgery of her father. You know about that particular colleague, and that colleague is also not having a husband, and her husband has recently died, and so she has nobody else to help, and she is not from a well-to-do family also. So, 10 lakhs is a very big amount for her to put it into the surgery. And in the circumstances, she is asking you, you although wanted to help her, but you also are not having the savings to help her. So, right now all that you can do is you can sympathize with her, but otherwise you are not in a position to help her. So, things have gone. After a few weeks, you happen to see the colleague again, and you remember that this is what she has discussed with you. So, now you inquire about the well-being of her father. So, when you inquire about the well-being of her father, now she comes and tells you that her father has already undergone the surgery, and then he is recovering and he is doing well also. So, you are surprised to know what has happened, how you have managed this particular money. And now your colleague reveals to you that this money has been arranged by the manager of this bank. The manager of the bank has taken some money from a dormant account. A dormant account is someone, an account holder has not made any active transactions. So, from the dormant account, the account manager has taken this particular money and then given it to her on two conditions. One is that she has to repay the money as soon as possible, and that she should keep this as a confidential matter, that she should not reveal this information to anybody else. Now, this is the information that the colleague is telling to you. Now, under the circumstances, there are few directives that is given in the question. We will go to the directives, but before that, think, what are the possible ethical concerns in this particular question? Do you think that the action of the manager is right in taking out the money from a dormant account? Whether it is legally right? Is it okay for him to divert the money from a dormant account, even if it is a dormant account? Do you substantiate and do you support this ethically? Because definitely legally it is not right, because you cannot divert the funds from one account to another account without the authorization of the customer. But is it legally right because the money has, is it ethically right because the money has been lying idle there? It has not been used. but this money could save a life, a precious life. So his intentions are very good, the intentions are very noble. So what are the various ethical issues do you think involved in this particular case? Now what about the behavior of this particular colleague? The bank manager has taken a risk to save the life of her father. Now do you think it is right on the part of the colleague to reveal this information to you? Because ultimately the risk has been taken by the bank manager to save you the father's life of save her father's life, and the bank manager has put two conditions. One is to keep this information confidential. Now the third thing is, now this information has come to you, what is your role to play? Is it ethical on your part to suppress this information, or is it right on your part to take this information to the higher authority? So these are the various ethical issues that is involved in this particular case. So you can just think about this, you can see as to what course of action you will do under such circumstances. You can put yourself in this particular position, think more about this. But yes, before we complete the case study, we'll just get into the various directives. So ultimately, we'll have to answer to the directives that is given in the question. So what are the directives in the question is asking? What are the ethical issues involved? So first we'll have to think as to what are the various ethical issues involved. What is something which is morally wrong in this particular thing? The bank manager giving the money, is it morally wrong? The colleague revealing this information to you, is it ethically wrong? Because the bank manager has taken a risk to help you. And then the third thing is, you are knowing this information right now, but can you reveal this information to others, or should you suppress this information? If you suppress this information, is it right on your part? So these are the various ethical issues involved. Evaluate the bank manager from the ethical point of view, not about the legal point of view, because legally we know that it is wrong. So from the ethical point of view, so is it right or wrong? How do you react to the situation? So once you are aware of this information, so how do you react to this particular situation? So these are the various directives that you have to answer in this particular question. Think about all those things, and you can also put the answers that you think may be appropriate in the comment section also, and we'll also discuss the answer. But case study is all about, there is no just one single unique answer. There can be different ways that you can approach a case study. But remember that you will have to take care of the stakeholders. You will have to do ethically the right thing, probably legally also the right thing, so that your answers can get the better marks. So before we proceed further, you can see here the prelims to interview live online English batches for the month of September has already been launched by StudyIQ. And the admissions are open till 30th of September, and this time the admissions are evening batches. So the evening batches are at 6 p.m. and the batches are going to close on 30th of September 2023, and the batches are available in all the three languages. It is in English and also in the Hindi languages. And if you are interested in these courses, you can just download the brochure from the StudyIQ website, and you can get to know more about these courses. And if you are interested in taking these courses, to get an additional discount on these courses, you can use my code Babulai. So using this code will get you an additional discount, not only for the prelims to interview course, but for any course that you wanted to purchase from StudyIQ. All right. So with that, we'll just get into the question. We'll just try to solve the various directives that is given in the question. But before that, what is the subject matter? So subject matter means what is the central theme of the entire case study? To me, the central theme of the entire case study is the ethical concerns and dilemmas in the institutions, in government institutions. And apart from that, laws, rules and regulations as a source of ethical guidance. That means our behavior is guided by laws, rules, regulations. Our behavior is also guided by our moral values and consigns that we have got. So both are the central theme upon which this particular case study is formulated. Because the bank manager, how he has reacted, is he based on the rules or is he based on his moral values? The bank manager, when he has made the choice, he had some ethical concerns and dilemmas. So now this information is known to you. So how are you going to act? Whether you are going to reveal the information, not reveal the information, it is based on certain ethical values that you have. Okay. So who are the stakeholders? Yourself, in the entire case, your colleague, her father, the bank manager who has taken the risk, the bank customer from whom the money has been transferred, a dormant account holder, and then apart from that, the government, because it's a public sector bank. All right. So these are the various stakeholders under these circumstances. So let us try to understand what are the various ethical issues. So ethical issues are something which you feel that as per the value system that you hold is not a right thing. So probably it is against the value system, or it is against the norms which the values which basically the society right now has. So probably this is the thing that you have to identify. Now first thing is that whether are we going to act, the manager in this case, whether he is going to act according to the laws, rules and regulations, or he is going to act according to his ethical value. His ethical value probably might say that he has to save the life. That is the most important thing. And that too when the risk is very minimal, by little bit tweaking the rules, if he can do that, he has to do that in protecting a precious life. But even if your ultimate end is right, the means that you are using is wrong, because it is violative of the laws, rules and regulations. So whether to follow the rules or to protect the life, that's an important concern. Now saving a life at the cost of violation of the rules, but if you have to save the life, then he has to violate the rules. So that is again an ethical concern, and this is a dilemma that he has to work upon. Breach of trust and confidentiality. The manager has taken a risk in giving the money to your father. That means the person who is in need of money to her father, the manager has taken a risk. But this particular person has revealed this information to you when the manager has already told to keep this information confidential. So here there is what? There is a breach of trust and confidentiality. So breach of trust and confidentiality, especially when somebody is trying to help you, that's a serious ethical concern. Alright, so that is another issue. Now the last thing is, should you reveal or keep this information confidential? Now you are in a dilemma, because if you keep this information with you, the manager will also be safe, and then the person who has got the money will also be safe, and it has been used for with a good intention. But keeping this information within you, not taking it to the higher authority, will that be an ethical issue? Is it something that you are not following the rules? Will it create tension to you? So these are all the various ethical issues that is involved in this particular case. Now evaluate the bank manager from the ethical point of view. So definitely I would say whatever is action of the bank manager, you cannot justify that in legal terms. But what about ethical terms? Now ethical terms is, you can look it from two perspectives here. Now one, you can say that the means itself should be a right thing, and then the means can be anything provided that the end has a good objective. So there are two perspectives, because there are different ways you can ethically think in this particular matter. Suppose let us assume that the intention is right, the ultimate end is to protect the life, but however the means that he followed is not the right thing, but the end can justify the means, because ultimately although the money has been taken out not through proper authorization from the bank account, it is used to save the life. And because it is used to save the life, you can ethically justify the taking out or diverting the money from a dormant account. The other way, if you look into from another ethical point of view, the ends is not the only thing that has to be seen, but the means are also equally important. When I say means, the process that you follow in achieving an end is also equally important. So these are two different perspectives. But as far as this particular case is concerned, it is up to you to decide whether it is ethically right or ethically wrong. So you can also put that in the comment box. As far as I am concerned in this case, because it is given as a dormant account, and as far as the bank manager is able to manage that the customer is not at any kind of disadvantage, to some extent, yes, since the end is also a noble intention, this can be ethically justified, providing following the concept that the ends will justify the means, because the final act was with a good intention. Alright, and the money is also to be repaid on condition. Okay, so that's a condition with which the bank manager has given the money. Now, how do you react to this particular situation? So now you are aware of this particular information. You see, in this particular case, you do not have much locus standi, you do not have much control, or you do not have any standing in this particular case. You are someone who can help your friend, but unfortunately you are not having the savings, so you could only sympathize. So now the bank manager has taken all the risk, and the bank manager has given the money to your colleague on two conditions: that the money has to be repaid, and then the second condition is that this should be kept as confidential. Now your colleague has breached the confidentiality, so you can advise her that do not reveal this information to others. Probably if you reveal this information to others, it could be problematic to both the manager who has helped you and also to you, and hence keep this as a secret. And probably you can also help, if possible, you can also help your colleague to repay the money as soon as possible, so that she is also out of danger and the bank manager is also not having the risk. The other option would be, this is one option that I have said, the other option would be that you can report that to the higher management, so that you put both the manager as well as your colleague in a difficult situation. But this is not going to help anyone as of now. So it is not going to help anyone presently, but as what could help is repaying the money and keeping this matter confidential could help the manager who has taken a risk and also the colleague whose father is ailing. I think this is the reaction that you can do at this stage, because otherwise it is not going to better the situation. But that doesn't mean that you are going to endorse that diverting of money from the dormant account, but you are only just trying to normalize the situation. Alright, so this is the way I think you can react under this particular situation. Although, again, as I already said, case studies has got different approaches, no just one single approach to case studies. So you can also take another approach if you want, and you can also put that in the comment box. And if you want the PPT of this particular slide, you can, this particular presentation case study, you can get it from my Telegram channel. Thank you very much for watching this particular lecture. And in our next lecture, we will come out with another case study which has been asked in Civil Service Examination 2023. Thank you very much. All the very best. God bless.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।